Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ralph, and in today's video blog I'm going to talk to Frank Tischer. Frank Tischer is a professional piano player and he is sharing some of his secrets with us. Frank and I are both from Germany, but we decided to do this interview in English because we want to make it available to a wider audience, so stay tuned. Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Ralph and I'm here together with Frank Tischer.
Hi there.
Okay, Frank is a professional piano player with a great love for ambient and Berlin school electronica. And I'm very glad that he agreed to make this interview today. Frank, I want to start this interview with a question. Is there any success quote or some kind of saying, motto, mantra that you live by and that has helped you on your artistic musical journey?
Yeah, maybe like something like there is things in which I believe in, and even in times of crisis, I always try not to lose that faith in what I believe in. Sometimes it's not so easy when you get the feeling it's no more working, but it's I always try to hold on what I believe in and to keep on moving.
So to make it short, you never give up.
I never give up, because if I did, I gave up.
All right, Frank, then please go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your musical background. How did you get started with music? How did you get started with synthesizers, and what kind of music are you playing and what kind of gear are you using?
Oh, hey, many questions. First, I was educated as a classical piano player for 5 years. In that time, that was when way back in school, I had a music teacher that gave me his vinyls, his records of Tangerine Dream and Kraftwerk and Klaus Schulze, and that was the first time ever I got in touch with electronic music. So I fell in love with it, and I started to open my piano at home, to unscrew things, to see how does it work, how can I create new sounds with my fingers, with sticks, with any kind. And I stole the cassette player from my sister and made first recordings with it, and yeah, since that time my gear has changed, of course. I love to play Minimoog Voyager, and on stage I like to play Nord piano because it sounds great and it's not so heavy to carry around when you're on tour. It's important. I love to play organ, depending on who I'm playing with. For example, with Mel Anderson, this is a British blues rock quartet, then I play Hammond and piano, Wurlitzer, Rhodes, this kind of music, D6. In my studio I love to play the Brute SE, which is very good for nice live sequences. What was the other questions?
Hey, you gave us a lot of input already. I just want to point out, Frank is a very versatile musician. I know sometimes you're also playing on ship cruises, playing piano.
Yes.
Live on. So yes. You are actually an expert in many styles of music.
Well, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I'm play different styles. Yes, I play on sea cruises and grand pianos and sing songs. I also write songs. I'm not a musician that is only in one direction. I love music generally, and I think every kind of music, or most kind of music, have got its own time. So there's a time for electronic music, and there's a time for ballads to sing, and there's time to rock. And so I don't like to cut myself just being an electronic musician or a piano player. I like to do more things. I love music.
Oh
right, then, Frank, what are your core values as a musician and artist? And has there been a major incident in your life that made you really aware of your core values, which then subsequently helped you on your musical and artistic journey?
Well, maybe my main core value is whatever I do, it must feel right. If something seems to be making sense or seems to be logical, but it doesn't feel right, I better don't do it, because for some reasons it will show later on it wouldn't have been right. Even with music, where lots of people think it doesn't have anything to do with emotion, like electronic music, it has to do with emotions. It must feel good. I had offers to do, like DJ party things, and I didn't do it because I didn't feel right. Because this is not what I am. I can only do what I am, and I would never do anything just for money. But it's not me, because it has to be me.
All right.
And you can, and I believe, and you can only be good in things if you do it honestly and with the right feeling. And if I would try to be, for example, a techno musician, I probably could do a kind of good job, but it would never feel right because I'm not a techno musician.
Okay.
Something like that.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's powerful stuff.
I hope so.
Okay, so Frank, what was your biggest regret or mistake as a musician, and what have you learned from it?
Well, I remember one gig I did. In those days, I was playing blues with a blues quartet, and in those days, I was mixing up, having a party, and playing music. And we did a very big show together with Luciana Red and Jean-Jacques Dubry, and we were partying on stage, and there was live recording. And the next day I listened to the live recording, and I listened to it, and I was playing a whole lot of shit. I was singing a whole lot of shit, and that's all because I had too much beer before the gig. And then I realized it's okay to have 1 or 2 beers before a show, but never too much, because you still think you are the greatest, but you're not. You're playing a whole lot of bullshit. And from that day on, I never was drunk on stage no more.
I think that's very good advice.
And it's better for the health.
Yeah. Stay away from alcohol, drugs, and cigarettes. I think it's better for your health anyway. I think that's great advice. And thank you for being so honest about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Frank, then next question. How do you deal with self-doubt and self-criticism that befalls so many musicians and artists in general? How are you dealing with it?
I'm still learning how to deal with it, because it is because sometimes I find myself like sitting in a hole, not moving any forward because of all the doubts and all the critics, and I wish to do things better, and it stops you from doing what you want to do. In other words, I'm never 100% satisfied with what I'm doing, but there's one point in a process where you delete it or you leave it
and move forward.
And sometimes I listen to recordings or albums I did a year later and think it's a good thing that I left it, because it's not too bad. And sometimes I think I wish I'd thrown it away, but so it's there, and it happened in a period of time, and this time is now past, and I learn from that. And sometimes it's interesting to look back and listen to things you did, and then I think, well, today I would have done different. Maybe not better, but different. Okay. So self-doubt and criticism is a good thing to have, but not too much, because they will keep you away from moving on.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, cool. Frank, what's the boldest thing you have ever done?
The boldest thing I've ever done, I think, was when I was young. I organized my own festivals and my own concerts, and I invited lots of musicians, and I promised them to pay them good money, which I did, and I paid everything in advance. And if I look back, I have to say, if one of these concerts wouldn't have worked out with enough audience that paid tickets, I would have been lost. I would have been out. You know, it was like
A lot of that then.
I was like 18 years. I was learning a job. I had like 800 D marks in those times. Today's it would be 400 euros a month.
Yeah.
And 1 hour away from the concert, I had like 12,000 D marks minus on my
Balance sheet.
yeah. And I was like, well, let's hope there will be enough audience tonight. You know, I would never do something like this again because it can kill you. I mean,
But hey, this is very, very powerful stuff. I think, Frank, the way I see it, you really had faith in your own project. You believed in yourself.
Yes, but
and you were ready to back it up with your own money. And I think that's very powerful. So if you are an artist, you really have to believe in your work, in your craft, in your music. And then if you're ready to back it up with your own money, okay, then you have confidence.
Yeah.
This is really powerful, a powerful message.
Yes,
so
but
anybody listening out there, you have to develop the feeling that you are 100% sure about your music and then back it up with money. Okay, then I think you will make it.
yeah, but in those days, I didn't have that money. I took it from the door. You know, I was hoping there will be enough people there buying a ticket.
But you believed in your music.
I
It's
believed
good
it.
enough to
I believed it,
attract
yeah.
enough customers and a large audience to cover
Yeah.
for your expensive. Hey,
Yeah.
that's really great. Cool. All right, so next question, Frank. Which 3 tips would you give to aspiring musicians?
3, okay. First, it's the same like the answer before. You really have to believe in what you're doing and never do something you don't believe in. And if there are people coming up and say, hey, that's what you're doing is bullshit, then think about it, maybe find out why they are saying it, and then think about if you still believe in that. And if you do, go on. That's your own way. The second thing is, as a musician, it's, I think, important to find out who you are. If I am a lead musician, like I like to play solos, you know, staying in front, or maybe I'm just a rhythm musician, which is not smaller than a lead
Yeah.
musician. It's a good solo musician needs a very good rhythm musician as a background. So you have to find out who you are. When I started, for example, I was singing in the band also all the time because nobody else did. But I found out I don't really want to sing these rock songs. I rather sing second voice, backings, for example. So, and since I quit singing lead vocals, I felt much better. So it's important to find out who you are and not just doing music because you want to stay in front and in the
Limelight.
in limelight, and you know, playing the solos all the time. There are people who are very good in that, and they should be that. But you have to find out if you are a solo musician or a band musician. Do you like to work with other people? Do you like to work on your own? You know, it's very important to find out who you are.
Okay, these were 2 tips. Maybe a third tips or
A
third
third
tip?
tip. Try to find a person you believe that the person is honest to you.
Okay, so Frank, now I have 3 questions for you, and I
Okay.
would like you to answer them in a short and concise way. Don't think about it. Just answer them.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
What or whom do you think of when you hear the word success?
AC/DC.
Fair enough. Is there a music album, a movie, or even a book that you recommend on a regular basis or might even give away as a present?
Record, The Snow Goose by Camel.
Snow Goose by Camel.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, now imagine you could travel back in time, back to the future style.
Yeah.
And you had the chance to meet the 20-year-old Frank Tischer. What advice would you give him?
Don't drink too much on stage.
Jolly good. Very good advice.
Especially if they're doing a live recording.
Okay, then Frank, what projects are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm working together with Bernd Michael Land on Tau. The second project is a big concert I'm going to do on March 11th. It's a big orchestra, big choir, me on Moog, piano and synthesizers, together with a band, guitar.
And an
drums,
orchestra.
And a string orchestra,
Oh, cool.
woodwinds,
Really?
and a big choir, and we do it in a church in Fulda.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
just working on it right now, and I have to prepare my next contract on a sea cruise with
On a
new
sea cruise.
songs.
That's what you're doing in summer. And I think you're also recording a new album together with Bernd Michael Land for Tau.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's due to be released this summer as well, I think. huh?
Yeah, this summer as well, and the title is going to be Humanoid.
Okay, anyway, I put the link to the Tau YouTube channel into the description box of this YouTube video. You check it out below the description box. And then what's the best way to get in touch with you, Frank?
Over my webpage per email.
Okay.
Webpage is frank-tischer.de or galaxos.de. This is the concerts I'm doing in all Radar Doom on top of the mountains.
Galaxus.
Galaxos.de.
Okay, I put it into the I put it into the description box of this YouTube video. Hey Frank, cool for taking the time.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, I want to say, okay, Frank is in a rush, and we are both from Germany, but we decided to do this interview in English anyway to make it available to a wider audience.
Yes,
Okay.
I hope it was not so grauenhaft as I thought, and I hope you will verzeih what if the grammar was not so good. Maybe next time. Here, tschüss.
You're a brave guy. Okay, take care. All right, this is the end of today's interview. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you may want to give us a thumbs up. And probably you want to share this interview with your friends. So, I kindly ask you to check out some of my previous videos. I put the link over here. I'm doing synthesizer tutorials, interviews with electronic musicians, and every now and then I'm uploading some of my own music. So, if you don't want to miss any of my videos, I encourage you to please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You find the link here below. So for today, I say goodbye. Have a good week. I see you next time. Until then, peace.